It can't be that bad, oh, 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 it can't be that bad.
You all good before we get started?
Yes, I should be. I gotta put these on.
You don't have to. It's up to you if you want to put the cans on.
Let me see.
I know you got a whole bunch of accessories, my friend.
Yeah, we're gonna see how my head feels. Oh, not that bad. Okay.
Okay, for sure. All right, I think we are all recording right here. Fuck yeah, dude.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
stoked.
Fuck yeah.
I know that you had like your own. You have one episode of a podcast that you never continued. The Super MUNDO show.
Dude, I have like three other videos that I've shot for that, 3 other episodes, and I never put them out. I never put them out.
Why? I mean, they're highly edited. Like every
Yeah.
single second, you like blow yourself up, or there's like a reference video or something like that.
Hey, welcome to the show that I don't have a name for still.
Those I feel like that was the reason why it took so long, because like I put so much time and just like focus and intention onto those. I got too overwhelmed and I was just like, fuck, let me take a break. And then a year passed.
You're just like, all right, still taking this break.
Yep. And then it never got finished. But there's like, honestly, there was a lot of still cool ideas that I probably do with those, or like eventually put them out, but probably won't keep them as long as they were, because half of them would either be like 2 or 3 hours, and I'd be like,
Damn.
shit, what do I do with all this footage?
Whoa, you were recording for like 3 hours?
Yeah.
And be like, all right.
Yeah, because like those, I mean, I only had 2 people on the first one, but then the next one, I had like 8 people all in a circle, and we're all like debating about random stuff. We'd talk about comic book movies, and then the next moment we're talking about like the world and how we could change it, and like the social climate about everything.
Wow. A true journey, a true arc.
And it's just so wild to see. I was just like, hold on, y'all, hold on. I think I need to have some more structure to what this show needs to be before I start making more episodes.
Is that something you want to go back to, or do you think?
I think so, honestly, or at least like the concept of the idea and flesh it out more, because it was really fun to make. And I know that people enjoyed it, but it's just this thing that I keep on running in with myself where I need to be able to like really flesh something out and make it understandable to myself before I give it to somebody else.
Dude, that's so good. I mean, I think I really appreciate you as an artist, because it's obvious that you pay close attention to the detail, right?
I
So like,
do.
what is this for? Like, is this fulfilling me? And is this going to be efficient for the people that are watching it or listening to it?
Yeah.
Because there's some people out there that will just like turn on a camera,
Throw it.
turn on a mic, and they just put it out there and be like, I'm the dopest motherfucker out there.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a double-edged sword though, because like there's with so much like intention I put into everything that I do, and I know that people, there are eventually, I'm not saying now, but later, whenever, there is going to be a person that's going to be pay attention to all the little marks, because you see how people depict artists, or they perceive artists now, where they're like, they see him as this person that like Kendrick, you know how they look at his lyrics and they're like, he said this word and it ties back to like an old philosophical quote 100 years ago, and it's just like stuff like that. You see where people are thinking and how much they want an artist to put so much intention within their work, and for me to actually do that, I'll be glad. It's kind of like finding little Easter eggs. You know, people are paying attention. And it shows me that there are people wanting more. They want to know more. Not necessarily even about me, but just more about the substance that I'm talking about, because a lot of it's never, I mean, it has pieces to do with me, but it's more about like where I see myself and others right now, you know?
Okay. Oh, so that's like your main inspiration for what you're making. I mean, we were talking downstairs about how like your projects,
Yeah.
no matter what you are critically thinking of them, you'll leave them out there.
Yeah.
You'll put it out as is, because they are timestamps
Yeah.
of the artist that you were, of the person that you were at that time.
Yeah. And I think that's such a beautiful thing, because like all of us really aren't perfect, but that's what makes us perfect. You know what I mean? So it's like a great thing for me. I don't try to stress myself out of trying to make something so like good when I already like it as it is, you know? You know, there's something so beautiful. Like I talk to my friends a lot about, not even just about my music, but music in general. They'll say like their favorite thing about a song, and it'll be something that was like unintentional. It was a fuck up. It was something that was like not planned at all. And it's like, that's the beauty. That's what makes like the music human, you know? Like if it was all perfect and it was all like I was hitting these notes to a T, or everything was just being played so perfectly, it just feels dull, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Like AI, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man, because I think that's the point of art. Art is subjective. I mean, when it comes to math has one correct answer most of the time. But when it comes to music, those fuck ups sometimes, like you said, are the best parts of that. And that's not math. That's not numbers. That's just feeling. And that's just kind of like, that's happenstance.
Yeah, it's being. And that's the best part about being a human, is that like you're in the moment now, and then like you can fall, but you can pick yourself back up. It's all depending on choice. And that's like a great thing that I really try to push towards my music, is that like I'm still learning everything. I'm still trying to understand myself, but I'm giving y'all like a platform, or like kind of a view within to myself, that like I'm still figuring this out. And it's just so weird, because like there'll be people talking to me like now, and they'll just be like, oh, like you do these amazing things I never think I could. And it's like, you got to understand, I didn't just wake up and do this. Like it's time. It takes a lot of time of understanding yourself, but also hard work too. You know, anybody can do it. It's all about just how much you want it.
What was it like when you were first starting out?
Man, honestly, it's such a big difference now. I mean, I'd say from my perspective then, I was very much like, no one can believe that I can do this, and I want to prove people wrong. Wow. And it was just this thing where I was like, I'm going to do it because I really enjoy it. It makes me so happy, like, because I would put myself kind of in the circumstance, or like the perspective, like, oh, this artist made this and it's speaking to me. I want to do the same for others. I want to be able to be like, wow, like this person literally captured how I'm feeling right now. Like, that's crazy to me. And so like that really pushed me to be like, okay, I want to make something that really speaks to somebody. And the more I tried, the more I do. Like, of course, here and then people were kind of just like, oh, you make music? That's cool. It's whatever, right? You know, because like a lot of stuff I was making at first, it was weird. It was really weird. And it was just like very unorthodox. And I'm kind of glad that I just stuck to that, and I kept on doing it, reworking, and kind of like finding like a good median of like what's easy on the ears, but what's also complex, to have somebody like kind of question what they're listening to, and they're like, oh wow, like there's a lot of depth within this. And so like over time, I just see a lot of people like start to grow on what I was doing, because like I'd make just like the most unconventional like song structures. Like I'd make an 11-minute song, and then people like, I hear a lot of people be like, I can't even sit through a 3-minute song, bro. Like stuff like that. And it's just so funny to me that like there's certain things that people say you can't do, like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. People aren't going to pay attention. And just like me kind of being like, but what if they did? And it's just, it's interesting, because like, it's not even like proving others wrong. It's just proving like that things can change and things evolve, you know, like there's always a different way to solve a math problem, you know? And it's just, it's really cool to see that like now I feel like I'm in a place where people are just embracing, like, keep being weird, keep doing stuff that's different, because I don't know, like that gets a lot of more people going, other than like, you know, just listening to the same cookie cutter stuff, or like watching the same thing where it's just like you expect it to be the way it is. You kind of go into something where it's like, wow, like I really don't know where I'm gonna be. It's like stepping into the dark, you know, you kind of feel your way out.
Oh man, that's really a good analogy as to what your music is. It's stepping into this kind of like psychedelic trip where you don't know what's coming next, right?
Yeah.
And what's cool is that even though you don't know what to expect, like it's listening to your music from 2020 up until now, you had a sound locked in. But even though you were even though that sound is evident and that's Mundo's sound, there was still so much room for exploration. Usually when an artist finds their sound, it's there's a possibility of them becoming rigid because they stick to that sound. But even though you're keeping that kind of like sonic aesthetic, there's still so many twists and turns. Like I can't count how many times I've listened to your shit and like there's been like a time signature change, or there's just been like it's like a whole fucking Quentin Tarantino movie with every track.
That's how it feels with life. That's why, like, it's so funny, because like a lot of that, it wasn't, I mean, it was intentional. Like I wanted to always been like, man, I would love a song for it to just switch like that and stuff. But that's always like lived within me, because like it's been a thing where it's like, I want to show people how I perceive things, or how I look at stuff, because like I don't know, like that stuff is like what I geek out over. Like I like when I listen to the song, I'll be like, yo, they just switched to 6/8 time, bro.
Oh, absolutely,
Like,
dude. You got like one of my favorite projects that I found in doing research for you is in threes.
You like that one? Oh,
Because like I think it's the second track, Chia.
Yeah.
You go is it the first one? You switch to a
Color
6/8.
Me.
Yeah, Color Me. Yeah, so
Color
the
Me.
first track. You switch into a 6/8 the second half of the song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this shit fucking goes.
Thank
man.
you, man. That whole project, or like the little 3-track, whatever, like that was such a turning point in my life, and I just think that's so crazy that you say that, because like those 3 songs, they were just so compact with ideas, because like I felt like there was at that point in time I was kind of like, I don't know if I could make an album yet. Like, I don't know if I were to make that long, would it have substance of stuff? So I was like, let me start small and let me start 3 songs and let me just put as much of just feeling and tension, all the things that I was going through at the time, and just see what I can do, and like have storyline, conceptual things within it. Like even like the quotes at the start and how they end and how the project loops back into itself. It's just like, I really wanted to make that. That was like my testing the waters of seeing how conceptually crazy I could get with songs. Yeah. And it's just so crazy that you say that, like you bring that up, because like that at the point in time, like I met a lot of people when I was about to put that out, and I got in a crazy car crash the day it came out. The day it came out, I got in a car crash. Like I was coming back from LA. I was shooting a video for one of those songs, which never came out. It never came out, but I was coming back, right? And I was like, it's the day of coming out. I was like, man, I wonder how people are gonna enjoy this, whatever. I'm writing back with my homies. We flip off the freeway. I fly off. Like we rolled down a ditch. Like it was a
Holy
crazy,
fuck,
like
dude.
My car was destroyed, right? It was crazy because like my friend Kiri, Father Kiri, he's also an artist too. He works with me a lot now. And it's just a thing, like he jumped out the car midair and landed on his feet like a cat. And like it was just like the way how everybody was fine after too, like the things that I was thinking of at the time, it was just kind of like, I gotta stop playing around. I gotta stop playing around. I need to start taking things more seriously. It was definitely like a huge like Kanye through the wire moment for me. It, like definitely, but it was just so wild because like everything that I was thinking of and going through, like all the still like, do I really want to take this seriously? Are people really even gonna care? That whole switch right then and there, it was just like, no. You have a lot of time on your hands still left, and you just got blessed that you're still here now, so you got to be able to do it. And I went all in after that.
Wow, so you have like almost with something so destructive like an accident like that, you kind of have like a beautiful revelation associated with that project.
Yeah, most definitely. It was like the experiences behind it, even just the buildup of making it. Like that production style too. That was like when I definitely started getting more like more experimental with my production, because like I played a lot with sampling and also like producing over the sampling too. Like I would take out one part and then I'd like play a bass line over it, or like I'd play keys and like cut out the sample within itself and then make a bridge over the same melody and stuff like that. So it's just like, it was a lot of like kind of playing both sides of like what I can do, you know, because there's usually a lot of like producers, they'll do straight sampling, or there'll be people who just like strictly instruments, and like merging those two worlds for me, like it really meant a lot, because they're like two different like places in time. Because I feel like growing up, I had a lot of like influence off of like 90s hip hop era, like that, like my mom really loved that, but my dad loved like Motown oldies, like very like you play the instruments, it's very like simple, good old songs. So like that come up, it was just like a merging of two worlds for me. I was like, how can I meet these two in the middle, and but both give them like their due respect? And it was just crazy because like that project was definitely like the huge switch of being like, no, I'm gonna just get weird. I'm gonna get real weird.
But you have a good balance of having something be weird, but it's still pleasing to the ear. You know?
Yeah.
Like when it comes to jazz has this beautiful balance. I mean, because I love jazz.
Me too.
Jazz has this beautiful balance of it being unconventional, right?
Yeah.
There's so much freedom with jazz.
Yes.
And if it's good jazz, they know how to make it sonically pleasing for someone that doesn't understand theory.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like I'm not theoretically trained. I know my shit. I can read sheet music and whatnot. Before we dive deeper into that, what is your do you have any background in like music education and like theory or anything like that?
You want to know what's crazy? I do not at all. I learned a lot of my stuff really just playing around by ear. Like I've always been very like what I said before about like my parents, they were huge music lovers. None of them ever played like instruments themselves, but they had such like a love for the art and like the people, the culture behind it and everything that like it made me just appreciate music within itself. And it just like it spoke to me in so many like ways that I really can't even explain, like such on a spiritual level that I didn't understand at the time because I was a kid, you know. I was just like, this gets me, and I didn't question it at all. And like I remember like the more I got older, I was like, I wanna learn how to learn these things. And like there was this thing where like, you know, when you're younger, you kind of feel like people don't understand you, like people are not gonna give you the time of day and stuff. So like I didn't even try to go into band or anything like that. I was just like, oh, they're gonna see me, whatever, right? Like I was already like instantly judging myself before I let people judge me. So it was just kind of funny where I was just like, you know what? Fuck them. I'm gonna learn it myself. Like I took the hard way of like trying to understand things. Like, you know, thank God for YouTube. Thank God for YouTube for helping me like learn a lot of stuff, you know? But it was definitely like playing around with sound. Like once I got fundamentals down of like the first instrument I learned was bass. And that was a very much like, it's crazy to me because bass is like the structure of songs. It holds it's the foundation, you know?
Oh, dude, it's half the rhythm section, man.
Exactly. And like before, I didn't even pay attention to a bass line before I started playing bass. I was like, what? Like you talking about the part? Like, you know
that's how you would define it?
Yeah, you know, like, and it's just like the more I would like dive deep into each certain instrument because I play bass, guitar, piano, drums, and then I know my way around different DAWs and stuff. But like each one of those taught me how significant those roles are within the music. And like the more like my sonic understanding of how music is laid out in your ear and how it's like layered within each other, like it just gained more substance. Like I started to understand it way more. Like I was like, okay, well, the bass is far back. It ties deep within your root chakra. It's the part that hits you the most. Yeah. And then like you understand that a lot of it is low and mid high frequencies, and you can play a lot with that, you know? So it's like the more I would do research about those things, the more I would just mess around. It was just like, it made me have like this deep spiritual understanding with the music, where I was like, if I took away, like if I learned it conventionally, like saying reading music or taking, I probably would have been like, I would have that association of being like, I need to play this for this reason and that reason. Because like before I started making music, I used to break dance.
Holy shit.
like really, really, like I used to like do flares and all that stuff, like really like b-boy and stuff like that. But then that passion got killed for me real quick because like it became this thing where like the more I started to do it, a lot of it, I stopped doing it for me, and people were just like, dance, Mundo, dance. It'd be cool. And it was just like, is this even making me happy anymore?
It was like a party trick.
Yeah, you know, and it was just like, why am I doing this? And it was that thing where I was like, I didn't want my music or like the music making process to be tainted like that, where I was doing it for other people. And so it really forced me to like kind of change my association with what I wanted it to be. Yeah. And so much like internal growth came out of that. So much of like a thing where I was like, it made me want to be a better person.
Yeah.
It made me want to be a better person.
I vibe with that because I'm a singer and I like to sing. And now that I'm like getting older, and maybe for like just the past few recent years, I've been like coming into more self-awareness.
Yeah.
And when you're blessed with certain talents, let's say like b-boying, that's like that's definitely something that can be self-fulfilling. But like at a party, people be like, do a windmill, Mundo. Yeah. Just bust a flare right now, bro.
I don't know, bro.
I don't know, man. Like that takes a lot. I just ate a burrito, man. Yep. Stuff like that. But like with singing, there's this duality, this double-edged sword of like where it is so like it feels good. You know this. You know, like to produce music, it flows good
out of you.
And it's like especially like when it's a good voice day, right? Stuff like that. But then and I think this is just how it is when you become like decent at any craft.
Yeah.
and being a performer, there's this weird double-edged sword aspect to it where you fucking love the attention that comes with it.
Yeah.
So much that sometimes it blinds you.
That is
right?
true.
And like when you're in the thick of it, you're thinking to yourself, am I doing this because I love singing, or am I singing because people love when I do this? Do I want this external gratification, or is it just fulfilling to my soul?
Yeah, and like that's the crazy part that like I think a lot of artists struggle with, you know, because it becomes this thing of like, are you doing it for you or are you doing it for other people?
Yeah.
And you really have to know your discernment between the two, because like the more you start working from yourself, the more you start trying to do things that speak from you instead of doing things trying to speak to others, you're doing both, really.
Yeah, dude.
Because like the more authentic you are with how you feel, the more real and just like uncut you are on a song. It doesn't even have to be lyrics. It literally just has to be passion, the feeling within itself, because you can tell when like somebody sings and you know they're singing. Like you feel it. Like you're like, damn, I hear the pain in their voice by like just this run that they're doing. And it's just so crazy to me. Like the more you're just like open with that, the more it's going to speak to people, because like, I don't know, there's been so many times where I've seen people like other artists I know that they're in the studio and they're writing their songs, and like their writing's very meaningful, but like they just don't have the control yet to like really express it. And it's like, it takes a lot of time, you know, it takes a lot of time. So it's like, it's like mastery over yourself before you can speak to other people.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, dude. It definitely is that. I mean, it's a whole bunch of things, right?
It's
a muscle that you have to work out at the gym all the fucking time, right? You know, like when you go to the gym and you learn a workout, you're thinking about everything. You're thinking about like the positions. You're thinking about like the range of motion and all of that stuff. It's the same thing with like executing music in any style, right? Like when you get into it, you might be a fucking genius up here, but to be able to translate those musical ideas to your mouth,
the physical world, like, it's a lot, dude.
It comes with the practice.
It does. And like, that's literally all it is. It's just trial and error. You got to keep on doing it until you get better. It's like, you know, when you're a baby, you don't learn. You can't run. You can't run soon.
No,
you know,
dude.
like it takes time to
Dude,
to learn how to walk,
it'd be crazy to see a
crawl.
running baby.
Yeah, just pop out. Shit. Like,
and then just get tugged behind because it has an umbilical cord.
Yeah. Oh damn.
Oh,
shit.
fuck, mom.
I thought I was ready. Nah, that's the crazy part. Like, a lot of people aren't there to see that this didn't just happen overnight. You know, it took a lot of time, because, you know, not everybody's gonna be there for you during those experiences. And that's why you need to be like, you got to be comfortable being by yourself. You have to be comfortable dealing with things like that, you know, because like not everybody's gonna understand your experience, because everybody's experiencing something different, you know. And it's really important that you understand that like you always have the answer. You always have the answer. You just have to look deep within, and you need to be okay with feeling wrong and like fucking up, really. You know, like the more you're okay with like taking the L and bouncing back, the more you're going to find those W's along the way.
Dude, that's so crazy though, because like the realm of being an artist comes with a lot of self-deprecation, self-criticism that is hard to really trudge through those L's to find that W, right?
Yeah, And it's like half the time you're going to have like this much of the L's and then like this many W's, but you got to hold them W's and put them on a pedestal because you worked hard for those, you know? It's like, dude, you got to turn the L's into lessons, you know?
I got a homeboy that I went to high school with. He's a good friend of mine. Shout out to Austin Scott. Okay. He is now a very successful actor. He was Hamilton in Broadway.
Really?
Yeah. You know, he's been on Netflix, and he just played Blake Griffin in the latest like Hulu series.
So he's doing it. He's doing it.
But then like when he was really going through the trials and tribulations and like doing the auditions in LA, he told me the average statistic was like, imagine like 50 auditions before you get one callback.
Yeah.
And that's just a callback. A callback
even
is
a
not
guarantee.
promised. No, exactly. And then after that callback, it's X amount of callbacks before you get that role. And who knows if that role is even going to open the door for you. Yeah, it's going to put something on your resume.
It's all chance. It's all risk.
Yeah, dude. But that's a testament to having to trudge through those losses so that you could find that win that's eventually going to make you Hamilton on Broadway.
And that's crazy because like you see the biggest thing that ties back to is perseverance.
Exactly.
It's always perseverance. And that doesn't even tie with artistry either. It ties back to just the human experience because everybody's going through something that is, it may feel like a burden to them, but like if somebody was in a different spot and had your life, they would probably appreciate it way more. So it's always good to kind of like get out of yourself and learn how to be optimistic in your situation because, you know, if you could be in worse shoes, you could be in better shoes, but it doesn't matter. You're in your shoes for a reason.
Yeah.
You have to go through those things.
There's no other Mundo.
And there's no other Chris. That's the greatest part.
One of one, dude. It is one. We are one of one. Even if we live in this day and age where we are trying to assimilate to being that thickie throwing it down on IG, you know?
Yeah. Or like trying to be this person that you're not, you know? Like
exactly.
It's this thing where it's like we live in a time where like similarity, where all feeling the same is what it's supposed to feel like. But I think the differences and that's what's going to push the envelope forward. That's what's going to get us to the places where we want to be. Because like if no one like questioned each other, then honestly, life would be really fucking boring, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Life would be hella boring if like there was this thing where like everybody just agreed with each other. Like I think opinions do matter a lot, but like you see too much of anything is bad, you know? Like there's a good balance in between. That's why I think it's important to learn like compassion and understanding with other people, but also knowing yourself and not being a people pleaser and feeling the need to seek validation within others. And so it's like you gotta find your discernment in both.
That's tough. I'm still working at that, dude.
Yeah, me too.
I'm getting old, bro. I'm 31 and I'm still fucking around. I'm still getting fucked up off of like this whole like, man, I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Everything I do is like I've gained success in certain facets because I am a people pleaser. And even though that's like objectively good.
Yeah.
You know, I got through school because I'm a people pleaser. I was trying to please my dad. You know, I got this podcast is quality because I'm trying to people please the people like watching it and listening to it. You know, But to what extent do I do all of that before I like it's detrimental?
Yeah, like you look for yourself. You know, like what makes you feel best, and like I think it's a thing like that everybody needs to understand that looking out for yourself and also people pleasing necessarily isn't a bad thing. It's just you need to know when to stop, when there's like the line you cross of where it's like, okay, now I'm just not caring about myself, or now I'm too full of myself. You know, because like I think there's nothing wrong with caring about like how people want, like that's my biggest job with music, you know, like if I didn't have people liking my music, I'd just be making music, which knowing me, I probably wouldn't care, but like that's not the point I'm trying to make. It's just like it's more or less like I'm doing this because it's speaking to people. I got to understand like, is this going to be receptive to them? But also I got to make stuff for me at the end of the day too, where it's like, oh, this is I'm not doing this just because I want somebody to feel heard. I need to make myself feel heard too. And then I can't think of the exact quote, but it's something like the more you give within to yourself, the more your output for helping others grows. You know, it doesn't feel like you're even trying anymore. You're just doing. And I think that really ties in. I read this really good book. It's called Becoming Supernatural. I forgot who the author was, but great dude, right? He's like a doctor and stuff like that. But basically he was talking about there's a torus field within your body. You have like this electromagnetic field around your body. The more you give within to your heart, the more like embrace of love you feel, the more authentic you are, the more your magnetic field grows, and the more your aura, your vibration that you put off, you give off is going to be felt by other people. So the more you feed within to yourself, the more you do things for yourself, you're going to give to others no matter what.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's so true in so many different ways, right? That similar things have been said about that thing in different ways. Like, you know, you got to love yourself before you love others type of thing. And it's tough because sometimes you come across some people where
they challenge that. They challenge you to be like, is that true?
Yeah.
And like, I love that though, because like it kind of shows you that like the universe or like whatever is out there is watching you and is kind of like, oh, so you want to believe that? Let me throw this your way and see how you're going to act towards it. You know, it's like it's almost tests at the end of the day. And I really think that's fun because like it's this thing where it's like you have almost like a relationship with life outside of you. You know, it's like you're co-creating constantly where like you're around this essence that you kind of don't see but you feel all the time, you know, whether it's in your head or like in just your body and everything. It's just like you go through these certain things and you get to kind of associate them. Do they really mean something to me? Where it's like there's been so many times where I'll go through a day. Like I'll give you like just an example. Like I wake up this morning, I'll be like, today I really want to focus on being more talkative.
Yeah.
And this whole time, like I'll go to work or something like that. I'll be like, I'm hella quiet. Like I don't want to talk to none of my coworkers or whatever. But then like there's all these random instances, whether it's like my coworkers or like customers and stuff like that, where they're trying to have convos with me. Like you can tell that there's like this outside source being like, oh, you wanted to do that? Here's a breadcrumb. Here's a breadcrumb. This is your choice if you want to choose which way. But whatever you choose, it's really up to you. You know, you have really control over like what you want to associate with. So it's kind of it's a thing where like it's hard to explain because like everybody goes through in a different way, but it's like, you know, it's wild to see.
No, the universe just speaks to us in different interesting ways.
Yeah,
man.
And we all have like set paths that like only you will truly understand, you know, and that's like the great part, because once you start understanding it, then you get to like show that to others, and then they're like, wow, I didn't even notice that before. I didn't even see it from that way. Wow. And that's beautiful. Yeah. That's so beautiful.
What do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy singing or rapping more?
Honestly, I feel like singing is a great feeling. Like what you were saying earlier about like, it's just this thing that flows out of you, and then you just get in this flow state. Like, have you ever watched Soul?
Yeah.
You know that moment where he's like
that so many times.
in the like little flow state?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like when I sing, dude. And it's literally just like, wow, like you get transported in this whole different thing. And especially like my recording place that I, like at my house and shit, Locust Black Studio. But like literally I'll be there, I'll record a song in there, and like my booth is just so dark. It's just like little dim lights, and I could just close my eyes and get into it, and it just, it just comes out. But honestly, I really feel like I enjoy both in different ways. I feel like I enjoy rapping, but the writing part of rapping.
Interesting, rather than the actual execution of it.
Yeah, because like I feel like that ties more in with singing, but like the writing part, the substance, because like I've always been like a poetic person. I always liked writing poems when I was younger. So like the intention I put into those, like the little double entendres that I don't even care if people even notice. They're for me half the time. So it's like a thing where there's so much intention built into that, and then I have so much like stuff put into there, and then I could put so much passion into like the vocal part that like it's just a merger of two worlds where I'm like, both of these, if I didn't like put so much time and like energy into, I hold them to the same regard, you know?
Yeah.
They both mean a lot to me in different ways.
That's great, dude. I mean, like usually it's interesting that you say you love the writing aspect of it. I feel like a lot of people are backwards, where they just like, they love spitting, and the writer's block is a tough thing to like get over. But it's cool to know that you really enjoy the process.
Yeah, I do. And honestly, when I have writer's blocks, that's like half the time when I like, it's so like contradictory, but like I'll literally write about having a writer's block, and I'll be like, this is one of my favorite songs. Like, this is one of my favorite songs. I'll be in the song being like, yeah, life ain't been going too good. I can't even pick up the pen. Then I can do it again. And then I'll be like, fuck, this is a good ass song, right?
Oh, shit. Wow, to write about writer's block and it's your favorite. It's
because
so funny.
You could write about anything. It's really like, it's a mental block for sure. I mean, that's what writer's block is, or anything is. But like, it's just so wild because like, you really get to choose like if you're going to let it hold you down or not, you know? I mean, there's always times where I'm not going to say I'm perfect. There'll be times where I'll be like, I'm just not feeling it today. I'm just not going to do it. But there's other times where I'm just like, no, like I'm gonna get something out no matter what. I'm gonna leave with something, you know?
Dude, that's great. That goes back to what we were talking about. Is like it's the perseverance, man. Like you're creating art. You just got to finish the goddamn thing, and it's still gonna be a timestamp of where you were at that time.
Exactly, because like I mean, I've done both things where it's like you make a song then and there, and it's just the capsule of what that was. But then I've also had other times where I'll set an idea. And then I'll come back to it months later, and then there's a whole another idea and a whole another layer to the song will be added. And then it's just like it builds up and it gets more complex. And there's just like, that's the one thing I love. Like there's so many different ways to make a song, so much like different, like it's like alchemy. It really is like alchemy, you know, like you can really choose how deep you want it to get or how simple you want it to be. Either one, they're both perfect in each way, you know?
And the way that you craft your songs, like it's obvious that you know when you want it to be this soundscape of so many different noises, and then like all of a sudden in the same track just like simplified into like let's drop this, and it's more so just this.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to your like your some of your latest songs, you know, like El Fin's so fucking dope, especially like the music video is so great.
Thank you.
I'm a sucker for like I don't know, like the offbeat type things, right?
Yeah,
it's so good, dude. And
Thank
like
you.
these music videos that you're coming out with are just so aesthetically pleasing and kind of, I don't know, like it's easy to come out with a music video where it's just someone like spitting in a random location, right?
Yeah.
On top of a building, right? But it's like let's take In the Air for instance. That music video, like it starts off with your face, 3 of your faces, different color hues, with like half opacity. It's like incredible. Like that's so like artistically inclined off the bat, man. Where does it all come from?
Dude, it's so crazy because like a lot of those videos, I mean those 2 videos, I was in a time where I was kind of like, I have all this knowledge. I played around with like visuals and stuff like that. All those videos I shot and edited myself. I didn't really have like other people to help and stuff. Because like, I don't know. I do have people to help, but me, I'm still getting over this. It's just this thing where I'm like, I don't need anybody's help, you know? And it's just like, I feel the need to prove something to somebody, which I do need to let go of. I am aware of that. But it's this thing where it's like, I had to get over the excuse of being like, I can't make a video. You know, I was just like, I just need to do something. And what started that off was the Elfin video. I really feel like that video wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for my homegirl Ray Buno, because I went out to SF that day, right? I just brought my camera stuff because she was like, let's shoot a video. And I was like, I made that song like the day before.
She's the one at the beginning of the video?
Yeah. I didn't like plan on putting that song out or anything. I usually just make songs just because like it's like what I'm feeling at the time. And I'll just be like, I'll put it out maybe someday, whenever, never, probably, you know? And so like, it was just the song I made at the time, right? And she was like, oh, bring your camera stuff. We can shoot a video. I was originally just going to shoot a video for her. And then next thing you know, we're outside and she was like, give me that camera. She grabs it and then she starts playing the song. And I just got put on the spot and I was like, fuck, I gotta do this. I took that as like a sign from the universe, like, nope, you're doing it. And so I committed to it. We shot the little outside scene when we were like out in the little like street and shit. And then I went home the next day. I was back in Stockton and I was just looking at the footage and I was like, this is like really good. Like I see like a vision out of this, right? I was like, this could really be something. And then I was just in my room. I went into my backyard and I was just like, let me just shoot a little B-roll or whatever, right? I didn't think anything of it. And then the whole day I just started shooting more shit because I started thinking of more ideas. I was like, oh, it'd be cool if I did this. Oh, it'd be even cooler if I did that. And then like next thing you know, I was done shooting and then one of the homies comes over. He's like, hey, let's go to the studio. And then they go over there, work on some songs. I was just sitting in the back. You just see me in the corner with my phone, like all editing. I edited all that on my phone.
Holy shit.
I made those videos on my phone. Yeah. I didn't shoot them on my phone. I got a camera, but like I edited them on my phone.
That's so cool.
Right?
Wait, what software on your phone are you using to edit?
Man, this little cracked out little thing called Video Leap, dude.
Man, I love editing shit on my thumbnails are all on my phone. Yeah. Like just I love little cracked out like little apps that people don't really like know
exactly because I don't know, it's kind of fun because like it's something like it's kind of nostalgic for me because like always used to be on my phone editing and doing random stuff. Like I just play around on whatever app. I'll just like try one out and see which one like I liked. And one of those like the Video Leap app is like one I was just kind of like, I like how this feels. They have like cool little like things you can do. So I was just like, I'll mess around. That was also is a testament where I was like, oh, I know how to edit. I have no reason to not do this video, right? And so I just started messing around. I edited that video that night, and I think altogether I made the song in one night, and then I made the video in one night too, I believe.
That's hella fast.
So
dude.
it was just 2 days where I was instantly like, quick, right? And I was just like, okay, let me just put this out, and then it just got so much good reception, and I was just like so surprised because I was like, I just did something. I just didn't even question it. I just like was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, right? And then it really told me, I was like, I need to start doing that more. I just need to just try. I don't even need to try. I need to just do it, you know, because I have all the resources. There's no point. I've built up so much to the point where I really can't have no more excuses of what I can do. So I was just like, let me do it. And then the In the Air video was like kind of my reaction to people liking that video so much. I was like, well, y'all like that? I could get even crazier.
Wow.
And then I just went crazy. I had like a little backdrop. It was like 10 p.m. or something like that. I was just sitting in my room. I took one of the little lights, put it on there, and I was just in front of the camera, and I just had this idea. The main thing that influenced that video, have you ever watched the She Wants to Move video by NERD? The Mr. Look at your girl.
I mean, I see that you're rocking NERD right now.
Yeah, I gotta put this thing on. Hold on. But
That's so clean.
literally, shout out NERD. But literally, that video, I used to watch that all the time growing up. I used to love that video. So like, there was a scene where it was like their heads floating like with the lights, how it was in that video, and I was like, that looks easy. I feel like I could do that, right? And I just tried it, and I was like, oh, I did it.
You can do it.
Yeah, I did it. And I was just so crazy. And I was like, how much different can this get? And then I've been messing around with like animating recently because I also draw too. Like a lot of like my covers and stuff I've drawn. And so I was messing around with digital art. And so I started like animating like, you know, the little text and stuff like that, like drawing little things. And so it was just like all kind of like a culmination of like what I was learning at the time, and especially like mixed media too. That was very mixed media inspired, like messing around with printing out photos and stuff like that. So that was very fun, and that whole concept kind of lived in my head because like I've always had an idea for a music video to be like, damn, what if I was just chilling in a car and I thought of a music video and it was the music video, and then I go back and I just drive off, and like that's definitely what
That shit is kind
was.
of cool. Yeah, you just kind of like light something up, and you just you're hanging out in your car, and then boom, right into
and
it.
that's the video. Because honestly, I've had so many moments of real life where I was like that. I was just in my car. I was like, this would be cool, and I'm just picturing this whole thing, and I'd be like, yeah, that'd be cool, and then do nothing. And so like I was like, let me keep it real because this is something I've actually been through. So. You know, that whole thing I've pictured in my head before, so it was more or less just bringing it into reality.
Doing all these things because like you mix and you produce and you sing and you rap and you draw and you shoot and you know, you edit. Do you ever find yourself like spread thin because you do all of these things that like you feel like you'd be more effective if you only focused on one thing?
What is it? A jack of trades, master of none.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely do feel that. And honestly, it's been this thing where it's like, I've been such like a hard worker my whole life that my like working under pressure in that sense, I low key like, I get numb to it sometimes where like my friends even have to tell me, oh, you're spreading yourself too thin. Like I see it within you, and I block it out. And it's this thing where I'm trying to learn balance too, because like I know that I take stuff very seriously to the point where I'll start disregarding my own health. And it's an important thing that like I'm still trying to like maneuver in a way where I'm doing things where it's still making me happy and I'm proud, but I'm not pushing myself so much to the point where I'm literally not going to be able to do this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
You know, because like I don't know, like that is a huge thing because I've learned so much and do so many things that like I've always tried to like do it for other people and be like, oh, I could edit this video for you. Oh, I can do this. I could do this for you. And it was this thing where like I stopped doing it for myself. And I started to kind of like detest those things because it was just like this thing. I was like, I started associating with like me being a people pleaser. And I was like, no, I do need to take a step back. And like recently, like during those times for those videos, I did take a detox of being just like, I'm gonna just chill. I'm gonna just enjoy life and stop. Because like I have this thing I noticed that I do where I just feel the need to make something to prove to myself that I'm still good.
Man.
You know?
Wow, I vibe with that so much.
Like I won't be happy at the end of the day if I'm like, I didn't make something or I didn't create some type of thing, you know?
Dude, I felt guilty last night, and I was at work last night, and I still try to find time when I'm at work to edit.
Yeah.
I felt guilty yesterday because I didn't make a clip or I didn't get too much done with like cutting up an episode. And it's so fucked up, man. It's so fucked up because I'm supposed, and I do enjoy this. Like I enjoy this. Like I have like, I have a lot of chemicals shooting off in my brain.
There's always a shadow side to the light. Yeah.
But yeah, I think a great way to put it. But yeah, man, it's kind of like I'm supposed to fucking love this. Like, why am I feeling so guilty? Why am I feeling like just a heap of burden?
Yeah, like you're not enough. When you are doing it, you're enough because you're doing it, you know? And like that's kind of like this contradictory thing that I run into. And it's crazy you say that. It makes me feel less alone on that thing, you know? Because it's like there's so much of this thing where it's like I'll be like, oh, I didn't do this one thing, and now I feel like I didn't do enough, when literally the whole day I was doing other shit that is just as good. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's learning to kind of train your mind to still like appreciate things outside of your own, like not necessarily creative work, because not everybody has like creative work, but what you focus on, you know, like it's very interesting, you know, and it's something I'm still learning through and I'm getting through, obviously, but it's that self-awareness and just within itself is grown so much for me. And I'm really glad I'm to that point, because before I remember I just used to like burn myself out. And I would be happy that I'd burn myself out, because I'd be like, yeah, I'd be all like
accomplished.
Yeah, I'm like, I did it. And I'm like,
whoa, that's such a crazy kind of wiring you got in your brain. You associate burnout with, I mean, yes, burnout is hard work, but like to kind of love the burnout is, I mean, it's dope in a way because you're getting work done, but also like, man, we're probably just like decaying our brains.
For real though. And that's just the crazy part, is that like there's so much like deep inner rooted stuff that ties into that like is so crazy to see. And it always ties back to like trauma, for real. And that's the crazy part.
I mean,
dude.
if you want to get into
we can't.
My question for you, I mean, it might lead into the trauma or like what it is. You said maybe like 5-10 minutes ago, you were like, I don't know why, but I'm always trying to prove something to myself. Why? What is it? What are you trying to prove?
Yeah, I feel like it's more or less proving that I matter, dude. And like that's the crazy part, that it's crazy for me. Like I bet it's crazy for other people to hear me say that, because I don't know, like the way back home in Stockton and stuff, like I'm not saying I get treated like, oh, but like there's people that are saying like they're like, you matter a lot. Like you have a lot of purpose with what you do. And it's so crazy to me that like I still have this internal struggle of being like, nah, I'm not there yet. And it's like you're getting all these signs from the outside world that you are. When are you going to start listening to them, you know? And it's kind of this thing where it always ties back into self-doubt, and you're reliving your trauma. Where it's this thing where it's like you could have been treated bad as a like a kid or something, or told that you can't do anything, and you're still trying to beat that, when you got to understand that was in the past. That's something that isn't affecting you anymore, and you're living in now. And that's like such a beautiful thing that I really try to like push towards others, is like being in the moment will cure a lot of that, because you're not focused on trying to kind of re-emanate something that made you happy before, because life is forever growing and forever changing. You know, you can't necessarily recreate something. You know, you just got to keep going. There's always going to be a new experience. You got to be okay with facing the unknown. And what you experienced before, that makes you who you are. You're strong, you know? So it's like, I meet a lot of people who have been through like crazy situations and just so many wild things, but they hold it so well together because of those things. And not saying that like they had to go through that to be there, but like it's just this thing where you either get to choose your trauma to either lift you up or hold you down. And it's like, it really is all polarity, because it's really your choice. It's your choice at the end of the day. No one puts you in that place necessarily, because like you see other people who have been through like a way worse. It becomes a thing where it's like, my trauma was worse than yours. No, and it's like, nah, like you just got to be better.
Trauma competition.
Yeah,
man.
And it's real.
It is real. I mean, because now now that's the 2020s, right? And we're getting more woke, we're getting more progressive, and we're like really mental health forward. There's this the pendulum has swung for so many other people like a little too far in the sense, just like
too much of anything's bad.
Yeah, you're just like you were saying, like I got more trauma than you, right? And so some people are like really and like, not to take away from anyone's trauma, like we are all you know, shit happens. And it
we all
sucks.
suffer. Yeah, you know.
But some people are really trying to like leverage that or like victimize themselves to a high extent to be able to like to get away with certain things. Like when in essence, like we are all going through it.
Yeah,
right?
And then I think that's just the part that we need to come to, because like, you got to understand that we are living in a collective conscious. We are all suffering together. We're all growing and loving together at the same time. So it's just more or less like, what's the point of trying to prove that you deserve more than somebody else just because of how much like things or like how much hate you've been through, you know? Yeah. And it's just really important to have compassion and understanding to another person, because once you start doing that, then you have more self-awareness. And you start to give that love to yourself instead of trying to seek it within others. And so it's just this thing where we live in a time where our attention and our energy is split up with so many things. You think about it, when you wake up, you're on this, then you're on this, then you're on this, then you're on this. And then mind you, your phone too is taking a bunch of that attention away too. And so you don't even have energy to give to yourself at the end of the day. That's why you just sit there and you're like, fuck. Like, you know? Man. And so it's just like this thing, you got to be gentle with yourself. You got to know that like, it's okay to not feel the best that day. It's okay if not everything's going your way. It's just more or less, you got to learn why it's happening, what you need to do to maneuver through that, and how you got to change your perspective, because it's not like any of that's going away. You know, you can't run away from things that are you can't run away from your baggage. It's baggage for a reason, you know? Yeah. You have to unpack it. And that's really it.
Wow. Yeah, you're so right with that. In this journey, like, who are some people that have helped you? Who are some people that like you're trying to make proud, like when you are creating? Because it can't just be just for yourself.
Yeah.
There's people
most
that you're
definitely.
like, man, I'm doing this for you too.
Yeah, I'd really say like the foundation, my friend group, dude, like they've honestly pushed me so much to be like really better. I'll name their names right now. Pharaoh, Kiri, Iris, Madison, Roe, who else am I thinking of? Jalen. They're like my Shamrock, Eric, Rocket, a bunch of people, you know what I mean? Like, and if I didn't mention your name, I still love you. But it's just this thing. Oh, and on my mom too. Like, just like my family and my friends mainly, you know, because like growing up, I was definitely like such like, this is gonna sound ugly, but I was like a lone wolf, you know what I mean? Like, I was very much like I'm definitely on purpose. Like I had people around me that wanted to be around me, but I'd be like, no, I got things I need to get through. Like, you know what I mean? And like, I would just isolate myself, and it caused me to be more like to myself, and I wouldn't share how I'd feel. And I'm so glad that I got to a point, like I'd say like 3 years ago. Yeah, I'd say 2 years ago, where like I finally found a community of people that were just like, but I want to be here. And I was like, you want to be here? Like it shocked me, because I pushed so many people away, and they're just like, fuck you, Dan, I'm going. Like, you know? And it was just so wild that people were like, that they wanted to stick around. They really wanted to understand why I was the way I was, and didn't like judge straight off. And like, it really changed my perception to get out of my own head and be like, people suck. And like, I wouldn't give anybody the benefit of the doubt. And it started to make me be more compassionate and more understanding, and like really dive deep into why I am the way I am. Yeah. And it's funny, the more I started doing that, the more I started to question that, the more I started giving that to them. And then it just became this thing where we're all building each other up. we all started being like, damn, like we all really holding ourselves down for what reason, you know? And like, I love that damn near every day I'll run into one of them and then we'll just have a deep ass talk and then we'll solve like a thing that we're going through that day. Like it'd be like another step of like loving self-love, you know? It's like, it's so crazy. And I'm so glad to have that around everybody. Like even now, like I remember growing up, I used to think that like with your parents and stuff, you couldn't ever really be vulnerable around them and stuff because you felt the need to like show them that you were this great person, that you needed to like get to all these high places. But then like, I don't know, like something switched where I was just honest. I was just like, man, shit's hard. Like things I'm trying to do, like just being really open and just like seeing that like, hey, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing either. And like learning, stop seeing your parents kind of as like these figures of like judgment, but as just people. And it was just so wild to see that like you can really have a lot of vulnerability with people. You just need to open up.
Yeah, dude.
You just need to open up.
And sometimes it is that trauma of pain that kind of makes us close off, dude. But then, like you said, I mean, that's baggage and you got to unpack it, right?
A big thing that I learned was that you're not your thoughts. You're not your thoughts and you're not your action. You're the person that's controlling those. Yeah. You know? And that kind of freaked me out because I was like, damn, like you really like, you think about it so many times, like in your own head, the things you'll say to yourself, you'll be like, damn, you're just repeating this thing where you're like, you just start thinking it's true, but then something will happen where it totally like play that off, and then you'll just be like, wow, now your mind's just agreeing with it, like it wasn't just saying this bullshit a couple minutes ago. So it's like your mind really isn't reliable on like your discernment.
No,
say,
dude, like over and over, like
you're always gonna contradict yourself.
Being a person, being like a creative, being an artist, being very self-critical, and like me myself being a people pleaser, like I often fall into this realm where like oh man, do they like me? Like does this person like me? Oh, they fucking hate me. Oh, they fucking hate me. Like, or like they must think I suck, or like something like,
and then they say something nice to you and your mind's just like, oh, they're cool.
Oh my god, they love me. They really like me. Oh my god, that's so nice. They're really nice. You know, it's just like, why? Yeah. Why the fuck?
Yeah, and that's all you really can say once you're aware of it, because you're just like, what's got me here, you know? Dude. And then the more you start to like, one thing that's really helped me like really understand that is just taking a seat and breathing and just like really sitting on it, and just like, you really wouldn't understand. That's why I try to tell people like when they meditate and stuff like that, it's not even necessarily like not thinking. You got to let your thoughts pass through, because once you start seeing the thoughts that are passing through, it tells you a lot of where you're at right now. Wow. You know, like one thing I love doing is like when I'm sitting there, I'm meditating and stuff like that. The first thing I'll think of, it'll be like, I miss this one person. And I'll be like, why do I miss that one person? Oh, it's because I want validation to make myself feel good, you know? And then you start figuring out, oh, I do this. I've been doing this for years. Oh, wait, where does this stem from? Oh, it stems from this one instance? Damn, that's crazy. How long have I been letting this go on? Damn, that's crazy. And it's just like, it's this whole thing. It's like uprooting yourself, you know? There's so much. You're like, life's like a garden, dude. Life is really like a garden, and you need to tend to the plants. You need to water your flowers. You need to do everything to keep that fruitful and growing, because either if you leave it, the flowers are going to die, or they're going to grow out and it's going to be all over the place. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude. And most people kind of, they thrive off of escapism. Yes. They're just like, oh, I don't like this problem in my life. I'm just going to dodge it. Yeah. Oh, I have a problem with this person. I'm not going to communicate with that person. I'm just going to ghost them. Man,
I really feel like being avoidant is just as bad as like being like kind of like aggressive and confrontational, because like either way you're both like not paying attention to what the problem at hand is. Exactly. You know what I mean? Either you're getting aggressive and you're not paying attention to it, or you're just going to be like, dodge, and it's like, it's still going to be there though.
Yeah, it's going to exist. Yeah, you're going to have to revisit it if you want to
face it.
You got to unpack that baggage, man.
Yeah, exactly. And then like, it's this thing too, it's like if you're not going to face it either, it's going to mutate into something worse, where you're not even going to understand it. It's going to have so many layers built up on it where you're like, damn, what even is this anymore? And that's like where a lot of people are, because like there's been so many, like it could be something so little, but then it just builds up. It builds up and builds up, and it becomes this thing that you can't even track it back to what it originally was. You know, and that's the crazy thing about life, you know, is that like you really do need to be present then and there and feel your feelings, because the more you ignore it, the more you're just gonna be lost within yourself. You're gonna be lost in the sauce.
Yeah, man. I mean, we were just talking about our inner thoughts. Imagine like our inner thoughts kind of overthinking on a issue that we've been avoiding for years.
Yes.
And now like the actual issue, like you said, has mutated into something else that has been affected by our inner thoughts.
Yeah, dude. And that's just so crazy, because like it rises up so many questions of like why you're doing that in the first place, why you let it get to the point of like, to that point where it literally looms over you, and you can't, it's so hard to like just do something, because there's been so many times where it's like something so little it could be something like so little to somebody else, but if I were to speak it, it'd be like I'm stuttering over my words just to get it out. And it would be like what, I'll give like a random example. Like this didn't actually happen. I mean, it could have, this happened, I don't know, but either way, it's just like saying, like, imagine you were friends with somebody for hella long, and like there was this unspoken like little divide between you guys, and it just got built up over time. You know, like if you don't like somebody, you start to critique little things about them, and then eventually it got to a point where you just felt the need to say something. It's just like you just don't know what to say, because it's just so much built up stuff, and it's like you really could have solved it then and there in the moment where you're just like, hey, I didn't like that, and then you guys have a conversation about that. It's not necessarily like, oh, I'm right, I'm wrong. It's just like, let's unpack this and understand where we're at, you know?
Dude, humans we're so ready to judge and so scared to confront, you know?
Judgment's crazy. You want to know what's crazy? Yesterday, I just got told something, and I was like, it was living in my head today. I was like, damn, it's crazy as fuck. Cause like I was talking to the homie Kiri, and I was just basically saying, there was like some incidents happening. He was like, dude, you're hella judgmental. And I was like, man, I gotta be judgmental. Do you see how motherfuckers be acting now? And I'm like, I just basically was trying to justify why I was thinking that way. But then like a couple minutes passed by, I was like, you know what? He is right. That does stop me a lot from doing things. Like it does stop me from experience or like meeting a lot of new people just because I'm judging them before I even know them.
Wow.
And it was just like instantly I was like, thank you. No, thank you for telling me that, because like honestly, you're right, because it's this thing where it's like you protect yourself so much that you start to block blessings.
Yeah,
you really start to like cut off these certain circumstances where you could thrive more and you could change more, but you're afraid of how you're gonna act.
Oh, dude, growth comes with risk, man.
Yeah, and that's
growth
crazy.
Comes with risk, man. Love comes with risk. Growth comes with risk. Opportunity comes with risk. You just got like, if there was no risk involved at all, did you really earn it, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just fucking privilege, bro.
Exactly. You know, and like those hard times is what makes us. And it's important to know that like it's just okay to fuck up. It's okay to fuck up, as long, I think fucking up and learning from it is better than not trying at all, you know?
Yeah.
That's great.
Dude. Yeah, life is full of fuck ups. What matters truly is, are you going to grow from that? Exactly. You can choose to, and it's once again, like, are you going to let that trauma hold you down, or are you going to let it propel you forward?
Yep.
I want to talk about, like, I think Stockton is such an interesting place because I'm so far away from it, and you were talking, so, you know, like, shout out to the 209, man.
Stockton, baby.
What's the creative scene like out there? What was it like growing up out there?
Dude, I love it out there, dude. Okay, so a little backstory. I originally was born in Tracy. That's like 20 minutes out from Stockton, right? Totally different place of growing up, right? Like when I tell you Tracy's a cow town, that shit a cow town. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's not really a lot to do out there. And when I started making music, no one cared. No one cared out there because there wasn't a scene out there. There wasn't like a place at all that gave any type of like, I performed at my prom. At my prom.
That's so dope.
And no one gave a fuck. No one gave a fuck. No one cared, dude. Like, and that was the craziest part. I was like, I gotta leave. Because by the time I was already doing prom, I was already living in Stockton. But I've been staying in Stockton for I think 3 years now, not even that long, you know what I mean? But like, it's crazy how much the trajectory of my life has changed since I've been out there. So like living in Tracy, like majority of my life to living there was such a huge switch, because like there was just one day I was like in my room and I saw like a flyer for an open mic, right? And I was already making music and I was like, I want to start performing. And that was like the time, and I was like, fuck it, let me just go, right? And it was dry cleaners. Shout out dry cleaners. They're out, cool little thrift store place in Stockton, but they host open mics, right? I went out there for the first time, and I think about it, I met so many people that day that are so integral to my life right now that it's actually freaky as fuck, dude. Like, it's like all these people were like almost like roots of a branch where it instantly like became this huge tree, you know? And I just think it was so beautiful, like to me from an outside perspective, that there was just like spaces being held like that in Stockton, because like it's so unorthodox out there, you know what I mean? Like in like the Central Valley area, because like when you think of like artistry and stuff like that, you think of the Bay Area, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of that here. There's a lot of community here, but whereas like we're in Stockton and stuff like that, it's so small and tight knit, but it's so compact and beautiful at the same time. You know, like I met so many people through that one open mic that is like, it's so crazy how interconnected it is now. And then since then I just kept going. And then it's crazy because before I was just like, I wasn't anything to the community. And now like I'm one of the people that is like pushing the envelope forward to make it grow and stuff. And it's just like, I would have never expected me to be in the state I am now. And now like, I'd say it's like we're at like the peak of it being seen by like the public now. It's so crazy to me because like there's artists younger than me, older than me that are like creating so much shit that is just so unheard of that you wouldn't even expect from Stockton. Because like I say the music scene is very like loomed over, like EBK, like very much like that type of music, which isn't necessarily bad, but it has an energy around it. It has an energy around it that pushes like you know, just negativity and stuff where it's like it deals a lot with like hard topics, you know, and that's what's associated with Stockton. But like there's also this side of like passion, creativity, there's love, this embrace of just creativity is really all I could say, you know. It's like people are just trying shit, and that makes me so happy because like it shows that like no matter where you go, there's always gonna like, I think of like, this is just like a random thing I think in my head. Like, you know, when there's a crack in the concrete and there's just like flowers starting to grow out of it. Yeah. That's what it feels like. You know what I mean? It's perseverance, you know? And so I really am just so glad that I can just be part of that and keep it growing. Like, I love that I throw shows like my job I work at, little coffee shop, right? Terra, they allow me to like just throw like I threw a DJ boiler room set in there. I've done like the open mics and stuff like that, and it's just so crazy to me that like I'm able to have that be like part of my job, where other people would be like, man, I hate my job. I get 16 an hour. I barely pay my. I'm still the same way, but hey, there's different parts of it where I could do a lot more, and I'm just so glad that I'm not just building towards myself, but I'm building for a community too. Yeah,
yeah. Look at that, dude. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing for your community. It was dope to learn that you were from Stockton, because I've known about you ever since the homies started throwing events. And then
shout out them, yo.
Shout out them. I've been unable to see you because I usually dip out early because I've been busy on those days. But I see that like you perform there and you're on the set list and whatnot. But like, so I'm like, oh, this guy's like somewhere like near the Bay, right? Like if he's coming out to Vallejo, but no, like you're coming from Stockton.
Yeah, dude.
And yeah, I mean, like I know that there's a lot of talent in Stockton. I mean, like I'm friends with this one podcaster. Central Valley Podcast, if you're familiar with that guy.
I have heard of them.
Yeah, and like he's just showcasing like a bunch of people from the Central Valley like on this platform, and it really goes to show like that there is talent everywhere.
It's so crazy to me.
Yeah,
it's so crazy to me because like you like when you grow up, you expect like artists to be like one out of like a dozen, you know, like you think that like, oh, you need to have God's gift to be this way, when really it's all like circumstance, what people are going through, and how much they want it. You know?
Yeah.
Because like it's just so crazy to see that like the people I was around, like I'm so blessed to be around because like they've really built me up to have the confidence to be where I am, you know, like it didn't just come out of nowhere, because like it was this thing where I'm like, oh, all these people around me are doing this. I want to do this too. And then like them just being embracing that and just being like, yeah, like you can do this too. It just made me want to keep on spreading that more and more. And I'm so glad that I've had that experience of like people, they'll be like, oh, Mundo, I wish I could do stuff like that. I'm like, come with me. We about to do this, you know?
Yeah.
Like I love being inclusive. You know, I never wanted to be like a gatekeeper of what I do and things that I just whatever. It's usually a lot of the time like I really just got to get through myself of feeling like, oh, no one cares. When really it's just more or less everybody does. People do care because I wouldn't be in the circumstance I'm in right now, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, you got to keep on reminding yourself about that, how important your impact is, you know?
Dude, and you're doing great, man.
Thank you.
You're doing great. Like, you got some quality stuff, man. And it's unlike anything else that I've heard of. I will say that. There are influences in there that I like recognize, or at least like that I think I recognize. You know, you got a lot of influence from like Tyler the Creator with like just the full expression. I hear a lot of like Omar Apollo. I hear a lot of like fucking like Kuko in there, you know?
Yeah.
You know, like I thought of Kuko when you with El Finn, like you got the trumpets in there. I was like, oh, that's that's nice, man. But
Thank you.
you know, I'm never one to compare another artist to anyone else. Inspiration is different than comparison.
Yeah.
I think that you are still one of one, and the way that you're doing this is very one of one.
Thank you,
because it's so unique, it's so original. You know, like you're like one of the only artists that I know that will confidently put out an 8-minute track, Peter Parker, out there, you know, with just like hella artists on there. I'm just like, all right, that's the way to fucking do it, man.
Yeah.
That's staying true to your guns and like really doing it and still have it be sonically pleasing and aesthetically pleasing with these visuals that you're coming out with, brother.
Thank you.
So
yeah, you got to be fearless, dude. You really do got to be fearless with what you do, because like, you know, people are not going to give a fuck no matter what. So it's like, why not go all in? You know? You know, because then once you do, then people are going to start giving a fuck and then be like, oh, like this is a whole different thing. And like, I don't know, like going back to the thing about the influences and everything, like I got to give my flowers to all the artists that did influence me, because like you know, everybody kind of, there's no such thing as like an original thought. Everything is always thought of before. All you really can do is build and expand upon it and add your own sauce into it. So it's like, you know, a lot of what I grown up listening to or like stuff like that, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for that, you know? So.
And that's the beauty of this whole thing. We are an amalgamation of what we absorbed growing up, whatever sounds, whatever music our parents played, whatever like music our friends played or cousins played, you know, that's what influenced us and like what we leaned toward and we just created in our own way.
Yeah, and that's beautiful.
You're killing the game, man.
Thank you, man.
I don't know if you know how we end these episodes, but we usually end these episodes by doing an improv scene because I got a comedy improv background, or we could freestyle.
I'm down for whatever.
What you want?
For whatever. Honestly, that improv thing sounds kind of fire.
All right, let's do some improv, dude.
Okay.
And then we'll get you on out of here. Thank you again. The way these improv scenes work is that they could be about anything and everything having to do with the episode that we just had, or it could be inspired off of nothing at all. Do you want to start it off, or do you want me to start it off?
Start it off, yeah.
Have you done improv before?
Not like for real, like on a stage or nothing like that, but I'll be improvising for sure.
All right, then this should be pretty easy for you. Without further ado, baddies, ladies and gentlemen, it can't be that bad.
It can't be that
bad. Fuck, dude. Fuck. I got writer's block again.
Fuck. You know what you gotta do though, right?
What do I gotta do?
You gotta stick your hand in the peanut butter jar.
Why do I gotta stick my hand in a peanut butter jar?
You just gotta understand that like that goopiness is gonna get you where you need to be.
Have you been sticking your hand in peanut butter jars? Are you sticking your hand in a peanut butter jar right now? Dude, is that my peanut butter jar?
The magician don't ever reveal its secrets, okay?
I can see it. I can smell it. Is that from Mike? Dude, what
But you don't know if it's crunchy or smooth.
I know it's crunchy. It's my peanut butter jar that I went to save. It's a new peanut butter jar. Mundo, what the fuck?
Not anymore.
Dude?
Not anymore.
What else do you stick your hands in for inspiration?
You know, it just got to be goopy. You know, if it falls under the goopiness, like that's what, you know, jelly's a good one too. Jelly's a real good one.
Did you fuck up my jelly? The two main ingredients for my PB&Js you fucked up?
Only the grape one though. Only the grape one.
I
Because,
only have grape here.
You do?
Yeah,
Hey.
you fucked up. That's what I pack for lunch every single day when I go to work.
If it tastes like hand, it's not my fault. Just know it was the other dude in the back. You feel me?
Taste like hand. It's gonna taste like something, dude. It's gonna taste like what does hand even taste? It's gonna taste like everything you touched today.
Well, you want to know what I was touching?
What?
Your heart. Because you want to know what's crazy? I just gave you something to write about.
That's a metaphysical thing. I'm pissed off about my peanut butter and jelly.
You want to know what's crazy though?
What?
I was putting my love into that jelly though. You don't understand, you know, like I was sprinkling a little bit of that MUNDO lations into it, you know. Once you watch, you just gotta eat the hand sandwich. If you eat the hand sandwich, you'll understand. You'll understand the hand.
I don't think my immune system is built up to eat a hand sandwich. What am I, a fucking cannibal? That sounds disgusting, dude.
Hey, have you ate McDonald's recently?
I mean, yeah.
That got human in it. You never know.
How do you know?
Same reason why I put my hand in the jar.
You know that McDonald's uses human substance because you put your hand in a jar?
It tells me everything. That's how I got out of my writer's block. I'm telling you. You just got to put your hand in the goop.
I don't know, man. That sounds like... Do you go to other people's houses putting your hand in their goop?
Only time will tell.
Cut to the week before. Mundo is at some girl named Jessica's house. Oh my God, Mundo, I fucking love your shit. Oh my, what's your hand in?
You know, that marmalade was looking kind of good.
That's my mom's homemade marmalade, and she uses that for marmalade competitions. You're fucking up her marmalade.
You want to know what's crazy about that?
What?
You know, I feel like I'm just spicing it up. You feel me?
With your fingernails? Why would you fucking do that?
Because I just touched Tabasco sauce and put it in there. You know what I mean? I'm
now
making
it's
my own
spicy marmalade.
Yum.
I'm a white woman, and I can't handle that kind of spice.
Yeah, I can tell because you had Tabasco sauce in there and nothing else.
Because we haven't even opened it. It's actually very scary. It's like that, horror movies and Tabasco sauce.
Oh,
main
no.
fears.
I just know you eat mayonnaise sandwiches. I'm sorry. That's why I had to stick it in the marmalade because honestly, you need a little bit of change in your life.
I do.
This is it. This
Salt
is it.
is spicy to me.
Salt and spicy.
Cut to back to Christian's house. Okay, all right, man. I won't let this one slide. Let's hear what you've been cooking up with whatever inspiration you've gotten from like sticking your hand in my jars.
From what the peanut butter and jelly has told me, all I really need in life is to keep on putting my hands in goop because I'll have more instances like this to tell me to go to rehab.
You have to go to rehab?
You brought it up before, man. I got a problem for real.
About sticking these hands in these jars?
In these jars, yeah.
I don't know if they have specific rehabilitation centers for that. I don't even know if rehab will accept you for that. I mean,
Maybe I'm just too weird.
No. If we're gonna go in that realm, it's gonna be fine. Oh, don't do that kind of cry. You're a grown man. Suck up your drool. Don't do that. Now your drool's going inside of the jars. All right.
No.
Okay.
The jar is the only thing that keeps me safe.
Okay, Mundo is fine. It's fine. We're gonna find out. We're gonna make a way for this to work out for you.
Mm-hmm. What about I know you got a Costco card. What if you just buy a pack of peanut butter and jelly, like the jars and stuff like that, and you just slide them over. I come over twice a day.
Twice a day?
How about 3 times? Let's make it 4. 4 times a day, and I just stick my hands in the jar, and you can do whatever you want with them after.
I don't want to have anything to do with. I'll just buy you the jars. Are you tight on money, brother?
How about 5?
5 times a day or 5 jars?
Both.
Fine, fuck it. Let's just get you the fuck out of here. End scene. Perfect, great, dude. Fuck yeah, that was funny as fuck.
I don't know what caused me to do that.
I hope you don't do that in real life.
No.
And that's just kind of like, I'm gonna use this platform to project what I really do back at home.
What if like there's like a scandal that comes out like years after, like big artist Mundo has a problem with sticking his hands in jars.
At least it's just your hands you're sticking in there, bro.
Yeah, there'd be weirder people out there. You know what I mean? You see that popcorn bucket they did for the Wolverine movie?
Fuck, dude. Man, people be sticking like that's the oldest trick in the book, you know? Hey, babe, you want some popcorn? And there's I'm more worried about this buttery penis in there.
Yeah, for real. What the hell?
Yeah, that doesn't seem like good, like skin treatment for your penis, you know?
Not at all.
That's not the move, dude. No, I had a great time, man. Thanks for coming through. Before we get out of here, please look into the barrel of your camera. Tell the listeners where they can find you, what they have to look forward to.
My peoples, my Mundo Nation, all the people who do not know me from now. You can find me anywhere. It's going to be at Mundo Got No Style. That's MUNDO GOTNOSTYLE. You know, you can find my artist name under Mundo Asterix on Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, Tidal if you like using that, Deezer. I don't know what other streaming, YouTube too. Of course, you could find a link to everything that I do if you want to buy merchandise or see a lot of the archive things that I do. I do have a website where you could access all of those. It's mundosupermarket.com. That's basically all the places you can find me. And if it's not that, then it's probably not me.
Faux show. Baddies, listeners, you guys know where to find the podcast. You guys know where to find me because you're already here. One more thing. Leave the listeners with a phrase, a saying, a piece of advice that they could go about their day with that reminds them that it can't be that bad.
I'd say it's never bad. It's never bad to be hard on yourself, but know when to be compassionate.
That's perfect. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through.
Of course.
It was a great time.
Yeah.
And until next time.
No.
Perfect. Fucking beautiful. All right. Peace, baddies. Bye.
Can't be that bad, oh, it 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 can't be that bad.